Ravens!
I'm Pat Mayo, and here is what you missed from Thursday to get you a quick update. So you don't have to spend too much time doing research. Smash the like and sub to the channel while you're here. And now this is available on the Fantasy Football Picks and Bets audio feed as well, in case you just want to put it in your earbuds and walk along. Links are down in the description to go subscribe right now. Sub to the channel and smash the like while you're here. Kansas City beats Baltimore on opening night, but the fantasy takeaways from the game, Isaiah Likely, guess who's called that one? Not me. That was bad news. But Likely and Mark Andrews both played 39 snaps together in the game. The most they played together a year ago was 16. So I was a big swing and a miss on that one. Likely absolutely went off in the game, and he was basically the only guy outside of Lamar on the Ravens to do so. Problem's going to be, it's going to spike back and forth each week, unless this is really a true Likely takeover, which I don't necessarily anticipate at the moment. Although I should have seen this coming. I mean, I can always say that in retrospect, but because of the weak offensive line, the young offensive line for the Ravens, we saw a lot of two tight end packages. That was the primary formation that they went out in offensively. So you had Likely and Andrews on the field at the same time, paired with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman on the outside. We saw those guys play the majority of the time together, with other players coming in and out throughout the course of the game. Derrick Henry, it's a little bit troublesome. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he might not be good. Now, maybe everything changes going into week 2, but we saw an awful lot of crop top Justice Hill. But here was the thing. Every time that Justice Hill was on the field, it was either a pass or a Lamar keeper. Except for one time. Justice Hill had one rush in the game, despite playing more snaps than Derrick Henry. You don't really want to telegraph your offense that way, but if this is something that the Ravens continue to do, Hill's going to have a little bit of flex standalone value as it is, but the big thing would be put Keaton Mitchell on your watch list. He's on PUP right now, eligible to return in week 5. He might not be ready for week 5, but second half of the season, if he is floating out there and this is the role that he might have in the Ravens offense, he's way better than Justice Hill. So if they don't go to a 3-back system and they just put Keaton into the Hill role, all of a sudden you might have a really impactful fantasy player on your hands, especially in PPR formats. It was a bad fantasy game from Travis Kelce, although the silver lining is that he played 87% of the snaps, ran a ton of routes. That's all great news. Rashee Rice was the one doing the damage and basically playing the Michael Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs, just running slants everywhere. But Mahomes only threw the ball 28 times. He didn't go below 29 in any regular season game in 2023. So it was his lowest output in ages, since the Bills playoff game, actually, when they just pounded the ball down their throats the entire time. Wouldn't really worry about him. Good news, though, Isaiah Pacheco played 80% of the snaps. He was out there during the 2-minute drill. He got the goal line touch and played the only snap from inside the 5-yard line. Maybe Pirine eats into that as we move along, but as of right now, this makes him an easy top 10 fantasy running back, maybe even a top 5, based on how this offense can get rolling, and if the Ravens just don't run a bunch of plays and the Chiefs don't run anything at all. Xavier Worthy looking good as well. Some other news for injuries to watch out for. Russell Wilson has a calf injury, and he might not play against Atlanta. Justin Fields might end up starting. We should have clarification on Friday. Friday practice is the most essential day. That's why I'm doing the giant recap on Saturday to break down all of the pertinent injuries. But this one is something to watch out for. I downgrade Jaylen Warren, who did practice in full, so he's going to go against Atlanta. But if it's Russell Wilson, that's good news for Jaylen Warren. If it's Justin Fields, you won't see a ton of checkdowns to the running backs. You're going to see more running. If Justin Fields plays, he is a top 10 option at quarterback. He's not a top 10 real-life option, but for fantasy, with the way that he can maneuver on the ground, we just saw it with Lamar, and how valuable those rushing yards are going to be. On the other side of the ball in that game, Kyle Pitts did practice in full. He's going to be a go. He is dealt with hamstring injuries each of the past 2 years. Those are the excuses that they've put up for his lack of production, a lack of elite production. He has production, just lack of elite production from Kyle Pitts. So if things start going south for him early, we're going to blame it on this hamstring injury anyway, make it 3 years in a row and do the same thing all over again. I'm just pensive with Kyle Pitts at the moment. He's still a top 7 tight end option. He's better than Mark Andrews. I'll tell you that right now, at least for week 1. But I would just be, cautious with that hamstring injury, something that he could potentially tweak. Jordan Addison, in his ankle injury, says he is going to play. That's actually good news to have another option on the field outside of Justin Jefferson. But, Jefferson's the wide receiver 1 of the week. Addison is a fringy wide receiver 4 flex start for you right now. Christian McCaffrey was designated with an Achilles injury to go along with his calf injury. They say this is nothing new. It's just they're reporting it for the first time right now. He was limited in Thursday's practice. Saturday is the big day for practice for all of the 49ers and Jets because they play on Monday Night Football. I do anticipate Christian McCaffrey is going to play. It looks like Trent Williams is going to play. Ayuk is going to play. So while they might not be 100% full health, they only might be 85, 90% full health or 90% conditioning. They're all going to be out there, so you got to start them with confidence. If not, Jordan Mason is available in a ton of leagues with Elijah Mitchell out for the season. Mason's probably the number one running back handcuff at the moment. He should be rostered in every single league. Saints wide receiver A.T. Perry did not practice on Thursday with his hand injury. We'll see what he does on Friday, but if he doesn't go on Friday, he's probably not going to play against Carolina. More run for Olave, more run for Shaheed, and probably even Taysom Hill at that point, getting him onto the field a little bit more. Tonight, there is a game, Green Bay against Philadelphia, and if you use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now, you can get your deposit bonus of up to $1,000. I got a way where you can win 6 times your money if it comes through. Listen, you don't need to win every single one of these. It's 6 times your money. You win 2 of 6. You're off to the races and cashing bigly in this spot. So here are the plays. Josh Jacobs, higher than 2.5 receptions. As of right now, Marshawn Lloyd and Emmanuel Wilson are both questionable. They might play, but they're clearly not 100%. Jacobs is going to eat both on the ground and through the air. I'm also going with Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. I play this up to 8.5 rushing yards, depending on how that line moves throughout the course of the day. It's the same thing. Eagles, fierce pass rush, dump offs to Josh Jacobs. If he's not there or there's daylight, Jordan Love is going to take off. He beat this number in 10 of 12 games to open last season. I would expect that to go down the same in Brazil. And on the other side of the ball, with Kellen Moore utilizing, at least we presume, he's going to utilize more pre-snap motion. That's great for Devonta Smith. Over 60.5 receiving yards. You put those 3 together on Underdog Fantasy and you get 6 times your money. If you want to tail that with me, that link is down in the description right now, or you can click on the link and just do the opposite and fade me. Whatever works. I will not take it personally. I'm used to winning some. I'm used to losing some. No one's going to win every single time. You need to get that into your head when you start playing with the NFL, especially in week 1 when we have no priors to go with. But code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now will get you that deposit bonus. Additionally, I'm giving away $25,000 for the season-long Pick'em League. The deadline is Monday night to enter. That link is down in the description. You make your picks. You might as well get the bonus money to go along with it if you're playing on Underdog. First prize is $5,000, and you can do it for a total of $23 throughout the course of the season. You make 8 picks on an entry, play it for $1. You can get yourself up to the 180 minimum very quickly. So it's great for people who want to play a ton or not a ton, depending on your budget. It is for everyone. Go join that now. It takes 10 seconds to go sign up. Finally, this one was brought to my attention by Adam Levitan yesterday. I'm just going to read through it for a second. It's about DeAndre Hopkins. It's from Paul Kuharski, who's covering the Titans. And he revealed that, in a quote from DeAndre Hopkins, that he had an MCL tear 4 or 5.5 weeks ago. So to quote him, it's a thing that... So the thing about those, it takes a whole year for them to heal. Obviously, it's in pain at this point. So he's already questionable. I bumped him down in the wide receiver rankings. You can get all the rankings down in the description. They're all updated right now, and I'll have the full update again coming on Saturday. And you can subscribe to the newsletter for free down there as well. He's not getting surgery on his knee, so he's already playing through pain. He already has an MCL tear. This can go south very quickly. I think he'll be fine as long as he plays, but one tweak. He's not going to be at 100%, but that one tweak could have him out for the season and requiring surgery. If you haven't done your drafts yet, I would not draft DeAndre Hopkins at this point. It's funny that this information just pops up out of nowhere from a beat reporter that we were trying to look at. So Calvin Ridley, he gets a bump up, and then if you're looking for backups right now, not that you probably want a ton of the Titans offense, but it might actually have more targets for Tyler Boyd. He's familiar with the Callahan system to begin with, but I would go with Nick Westbrook-Ikena over Treylon Burks because Treylon Burks kind of stinks. And my guy, Nick Westbrook-Ikena, yeah, he's okay. He's had moments in the past. You probably don't want either, but for deeper leagues, those are guys to keep on your radar for the inevitable when DeAndre Hopkins has to go get knee surgery in like 7 weeks. I pray for DeAndre Hopkins that he can make it through the entire season because I like him so much, but this is not great news. All right? I will be back Saturday with the full report, and then Sunday, I'm going to go live, I believe, at 12 Eastern Time on Mayo Media Network's YouTube channel. If you have start-sit questions, any questions that you may have, I will be here to help you through that and try to give you good advice. But if you played the Isaiah Likely unders, you know that I'm not always right with this stuff, but hopefully we can get back on the horse tonight, win a 6X, and we're off to the races. So use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now, all right? I will see you next time.
Mayo experience! Experience!